Well, my country is Guatemala, so the status there for management, it's very varied. We have very different regional areas that have very different physical characteristics. The problem that we have mostly is that we don't have the adequate or efficient governance structures to accompany the knowledge that is there. There's a lot of local knowledge and indigenous knowledge on how to deal with soils, but there's also a lot of financial needs, and farmers just need the sufficient incentives to manage their land sustainably, and they also need the government policies to accompany these knowledge so that they can implement it on the field. Well, that is a very good question. Soils can contribute to the Zero Hunger Challenge because there's a very obvious connection between soils as the basis for food production. So actually, what soils can do is that they can help us reach a world where people have access to nutritious food all year round. Even though the global numbers for hunger have declined, there's actually more hunger now in Africa and the Near East. So what we need to do is actually increase our yields right now very dramatically to be able to feed the world in a situation where the population is growing and increasing so dramatically. The problem is that if we want to feed more people, we need to have healthy soils, and our soils are being degraded and are being continuously threatened by our unsustainable practices. So what we need to do is focus on soil health and soil productivity so that we can think about alternative agriculture processes and alternatives and practices that can help us have healthy soils for healthy food. One of the other things that soils can do in terms of the Zero Hunger Challenge is that we can look at them in terms of how we can make all of our food production systems sustainable. And that's why we need to share more information and have appropriate instruments that help us more than everything empower women and small holder farmers that are the ones that are producing most of the food in the world. And what they need is the appropriate governance structures and instruments that can support them. And the voluntary guidelines of the FAO are one of the big examples that we have out there in a first initiative trying to move towards that direction. Lastly is that we need to focus on the objective of cutting food losses and food waste to be able to contain and maintain our soils, because when we lose and when we waste food, we also waste soils. So that focusing on sustainable consumption will be one of the key issues and challenges in the next couple of years. The Global Soil Partnership is a great instrument, a great initiative. One thing that it can do is actually promote sustainable soil management and promote and highlight effective and best practices from around the world for our partners to learn from each other and have these knowledge sharing that is so important to implement these practices on the field. One other thing that it can do is support the creation of more research and more information that we need to make better decisions in our countries individually. And the most important thing that the Global Soil Partnership can do is just bring stakeholders together and have them talk to each other and share the knowledge and think about how they can implement this knowledge on the field. Funding agencies do see soil management as an important tool. The problem is that sometimes we just don't have the correct information, the correct easy messages that we need to convey to make sure that this is an important goal internationally. One thing that is happening right now, and that is a very effective tool an initiative, is the process that was agreed upon on Rio +20 of having a set of sustainable development goals. And the proposal table by the UNCCD, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification justification to have a sustainable development goal specific to land and soils. So I believe that having these goals or these target internationally can help funding agencies to focus on these goals as one of our overarching missions or visions that we want to move forward in terms of having sustainability for all countries, because this is an issue that affects developing and developed, North and South. So that would be a very productive way to move forward.